So today I thought I would share with you a little story. The story of how my dad teleported. Now I bet you're wondering, where's the punchline? When is she going to say, oh, that was the first time I saved a village of Inuits from a troupe of villainous tap dancers? Well, that's a different story for a different time. This is the teleporting story. So, some years ago, I was probably 14, maybe 15, so the 1920s. And my dad teleported. Now, to help in this story, I do have an illustration that I always keep on hand. I also keep a instruction manual on embalming, a map of Latvia, and the anatomy of a Tibetan fox, because you never know when it's going to come up in conversation. And I tell you what, it's got me out of a sticky situation or two. That being said, so it's a hot summer day. My dad and I were down in our field. We had a huge field. Dad had been taking care of the animals. It's hot. We're tired. We're headed up our field. Okay, I'm about 20 or so feet in front of him, and we're talking and laughing. And here's a little map, written and drawn by Picasso himself. Okay, now our yard, gotta pay attention to this, is sort of at an incline. See, incline. It says incline. You can't read it. Now you can. I don't know. Anyway, there's two paths. Darn you, air conditioner. This one and this one. Now our field, it's empty, and we're headed up, and there's two paths, as you can see, one on either side, and it's spread out, and we're together on one. You can see across to the other. That is until you reach the barn. See, look, there's trees here. See that? Those things are trees. Bob Ross would be proud. So you can see across till you hit the barn. And then our views are obstructed. Okay? My dad and I, self-proclaimed wizard, are on this one. I'm about 15 to 20 feet ahead of him. I'm tired and I'm thirsty. I just want to go in and get something to drink. So I remember distinctly looking back at him and seeing him. He had a pail in his hand where he had been taking care of the animals down there. So spry, youthful me books it up the path the rest of the way. I had seen him behind me. Okay? I run. Now, pay attention. This is critical information. We're on this path. We were not to the barn yet. I'm at the barn now. I'm running. So at this point, this side, this path, would be obstructed. You have the barn in the middle, trees. I'm running. Remember, it's not steep. It's not a mountain. It's just a slight incline, enough to feel when you're tired. And I'm running. I hit the driveway. See, look at that driveway right there. It's rounded, and this is the backyard. It's asphalt, but whatever. There's two ways up, and these are at inclines, back of the house. I hit the pavement, and I go this way. I'm behind the house. So from this point of view, you can see anyone or anything coming up this path. There's a little house here. Don't know what that's all about. Nobody's here. You can see. I turn. I'm up. I'm in the house. Now, when I got into the house, after running all the way up, turning, on the porch, in the house, I'm slowing down now. I'm through the living room. I'm in the dining room. And I turn to the kitchen to, get a drink or whatever. My dad is already in the kitchen at the far corner. It was an old house, large rooms. He's already at the other side of the kitchen, opening a can of cat food. Not out of breath, not tired, not exasperated, and he had time to go to the pantry and get a thing of cat food out. I can't even explain. We'll all say that we're shocked or surprised by something, but genuine shock, where you see something that you can't actually be seeing. It's like the blue screen of death. Your brain freezes. I remember this. I even looked behind me. I don't even know what I was looking for, but I looked behind me, just lost for words, and I asked him, I'm like, how are you in here? I couldn't even speak. And he just, looks at me. He says, and I quote you, "I broke down to a nominal phase and reassembled." So I said, you teleported. You teleported here. From the field into the kitchen, you teleported? Yes, I broke down to a nominal phase, my constituent parts. Okay. Well, cool. Can you pass the water? To this day, I cannot figure out how he did it. No, I tell this story to everybody because I want to know how he did it. To this day, 87 years later, he sticks to that story about a nominal phase and whatnot. So let's go over this again, shall we? Because I want to know how he did it. I believe he teleported because there is no possible way he did it. That's why I have a map to show you. Because we're at an incline. It's at an incline. You can see across. I was 20 or so feet ahead of him. I looked back before I started running. He was behind me. I ran. So I'm already ahead of him. Now I'm running. Not to mention I am, was a little younger. So had more energy. I never heard anybody running behind me. Typically you're going to hear somebody, beating the ground behind you. So he wasn't behind me. He wasn't running behind me. So if I was going up one path, maybe he cut this way. Here would have been the barn. Okay? So he would have maybe gone this direction. I think I'm going the wrong way. And hit this pavement. Okay, well, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Thank you, Bill Nye. So that still would have been out of the way. But had he done it, had he run this way? So I'm still going this direction. He cuts across onto this other line I've doodled. And he's going up between the barn and the little house. It's an incline. This one is a bit more rutted out. There's a little stone walkway here in front of the little house. Up the steps, he's on the pavement now. Okay. Well, I would have already been on the pavement by the time, if he was running that fast, got up here. So we would have run into each other. Perpendicular. Would have met on the driveway. But we didn't. Nobody was there. I kept going this way. Say, for instance, he did and I didn't see him and I passed him. So I turned and I'm going up, running up the driveway. Maybe he went in a different door. Well, first of all, I never heard him. I never saw him. Now, there is a basement door here, normally padlocked. Say I missed him and didn't hear him and he went in this direction. Our basement was a dungeon. I'm not talking a little 2-room. No, this thing was huge. It was an old, creepy house. So he would have had to have unlocked said basement, gone through the hallway, through whatever these rooms were, over here, up the stairs. Now, it would have put him into the pantry, yes, but there was no way he could have done all that before I was in the house. And keep in mind, he was not out of breath. He was not exasperated. I was. I'm over there. I still do that. He wasn't. Now, there's another door here. This one is actually a side porch. This was another door. This door always locked with a skeleton key. If for some reason he happened to have the key on him that day, maybe he was behind me. The distance was too great. I had 15 to 20 or so feet on him. He couldn't have got through the basement door in time. There is an upstairs door up here, but that was not even really an option because it was 3 stories up. Some rickety old metal stairs, not even attached to anything, so probably would have just collapsed everything. Couldn't have got up here if I went this way behind the house and he went straight. We would have met in the front yard, seen each other, because you go up this direction, then you have to go up a side hill, just a little slant. There was no way. All options are moot because he was too far behind me. He was not out of breath. He was not tired. He had not been running. To me, the only way he could have done it, the most logical, without me hearing him behind me directly, would have been to have cut across behind the barn. But again, I was ahead of him, and I already have a head start running. This, again, it's wide yard. He wouldn't have had time to get through the barn up here. I would have seen him. I would have already been halfway up the driveway. By the time he got the basement door open, I would have already been in the house, chilling or whatever. So my dad teleported. He is a wizard. broke down to a nominal face. So that's pretty cool. If anybody has any thoughts on how he did it, can explain it to me, I would love to know your input. Anyway, peace out.